My radio journey started in 2011 when I was in Germany, in Uganda, as a South Sudanese refugee. And that place became my home because from a tender age, that's where I grew up. So they started the radio station called Radio Amani. Now, Radio Amani is a community-based radio station in Germany, and that Radio Amani had presenters mainly from the indigenous community. So one day I sat down and I was listening. I always had this passion for radio. I always loved to listen to radio. I always listened to BBC Focus on Africa and Free Africa while growing up as we listened to Congolese music. And when I heard of Radio Amani being opened in Germany, I was like, okay, maybe I could try my luck, but I didn't have any radio experience. One, I had just finished Senior 6, and I had no experience being on radio. I had never entered a studio. So I tuned in Radio Amani one day, and I heard the presenters talk. And I'm like, okay, I think I can talk like that. They were interchanging English and the local language Mali. And so I had one of the largest communities in Germany, the Kubu community, and the South Sudanese at large, and I felt they were not represented on radio. It's like, what if I take another test there? Will they give me a chance? Remember, there is no radio experience. I've never entered a radio station before. So I laid a strategy, and my strategy was to call the radio frequently to contribute to their programs. So that when I get to the radio, they know this is Lupai. So I always called either to request for songs or called to contribute, to let people know that, hey, there's Lupai from this village and he's contributing to your program. And there was this one presenter called Salama. I'll always be grateful to her. If I don't call, she'll be like, so greetings to those of Lupai in BII and blah, 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 blah. And every time she mentions my name on radio, even before I call or do anything, I feel like, oh, I think this presenter knows me. So if I go to this radio, I'll go to Salama and tell Salama, hey Salama, I am Lupai. So I wrote my CV and wrote an application and took it to the radio. And the program manager told me, hey Sambro, we have not advertised. So we don't have any vacancy. I was like, I want to volunteer. Even if you don't give me nothing, I just stay next year about 3 minutes away. So give me that chance and I won't disappoint. And they're like, sorry, unless we advertise. For now, it's full. I was like, okay. I went back. The next day I came, I was like, I'm coming to say Salama. I just want to interact with Salama, the presenter. So I sat down with Salama, we were interacting. And I was like, Salama, I brought my application here. And she was like, for now they are not taking any more. But in case there's a chance, we'll give it to you. I was like, okay. So because I and Salama became friends, like no strings attached. So we became friends, and I would oftenly go to the radio and just chill with her. And this day, I went to the radio, sat down with Salama, had some conversation, and I saw my CV. The CV that I took 2 days to write, lying on the floor of the sitting room. It's called a payot at the radio station. I was like, that CV looks familiar. And I was like, She picked the CV, looked at it. I was like, this is my CV. How did it get here? And she was like, she doesn't know. I was like, okay, this is my CV. This is my CV. Give it to the manager. Maybe he has not even seen it. And she was like, okay, she'll try. So she got this CV. I don't know what she did with it. But our interactions with her, she felt I had a good command of English. And compared to some of the radio presenters who might come on board, and she's like, I think you're better than so and so and so and so. Why? Let them give you a chance. It's like, okay, talk to them, let them give me a chance. You know, I need that chance. So one day, I was just coming to like chill with my friend, Salama, my friend. So we're chilling, and the manager, God bless him, was not available, but he had already told Salama that, hey, maybe you should give this guy a chance. He was the manager, and there's a program manager, and there's Salama. So that manager traveled to the nearest district, and he had a 4-hour radio show. So that means that show was just going to be music playing throughout. And Salama was like, okay, Sambro, let's do this. Whatever comes, let's do this. Do you know how to operate a computer? I was like, yeah, since 2006. So like, oh, okay. Do you know how to, play music and stuff? I was like, trust me, I can do that. He was like, come with me. Took me to the program manager. I was like, hey, let's try this guy out. We got into the studio. Remember, my first time entering a studio. I sat on the DJ's seat. And she was like, this line here, this is for your microphone. So when you want to speak, you slide it up. When you're done speaking, slide it back. Is that okay? Yeah. This line is for music. So when you want to talk, you slide it down, slide your microphone line up. Is that okay? It's like, nice. You know how to use this system. It's Zara. There's a player called Zara Radio. So it's Zara. It's like, do you know how to use this? I was like, I haven't used this one. But the way I say it, I just double click and the song plays. It's like, this is how you're going to do it. So she showed me what to do when I want to speak, when I want to play music, or when I want to pick chords. And guess what she did? Instead of also being a good teacher, sitting next to your student, she closed the door, and left me in there to go on air on my own. 4-hour radio show. So I sat, played music, was playing. The list is already there, you just click and play. I was like, I also want to play my kind of music. So I went, since I knew how to use a computer, I searched for my kind of music, found my way to play it on Zara, and I was playing my music. I played music for 2 hours out of the 4-hour show because I was nervous, I was scared, I didn't even know whether somebody was listening to me or not. So for the 4 hours, 2 hours, I was just playing music. But after that, I got my courage, thought about everything else. And I was like, I think it's just this one chance. I miss it out, I'm not getting it no more. So I sleep and I started talking. First of all, I didn't know which name to use because I had so many names. I was called Lusake Rapapampam, but on Facebook, Sweetheart Sambro Lupai, and my real name's Lupai Samuel Kenyi. So I have all this running through my head, and now I'm supposed to make a decision on which one is going to be my radio brand. I had not made that decision yet, and all I did was like, this is Radio Money 89.1 FM. My name is Lupai Samuel Kenyi Lusake Rapapampam Sweetheart Sambro Lupai. All these names. So after mentioning all my names, all the words I had prepared disappeared. I slid back the music line, played music for another 5-10 minutes, brought it down, went back again. All those that I started mentioning the villages in the Ajumani district. All those from this village and this village and this village, I greet you all, blah, 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 blah. I was excited, I was just talking. And then I was like, okay, if you want to call, I still remember that telephone number. Yeah? I still remember the telephone number is 0776 891 000. So I was like, if you want to call me now, 0776 891 000. And the first person who called me is my friend. Nobody knew I was on radio. I was going to Radio Money. Not even my family. I was just going. They just knew I was going to chill. They didn't know I was going to go on air. And so when they heard it was me on air, and they knew that was me. So you know, as being a refugee, we have food ratio that is usually given to South Sudanese refugees out of the country. And that day happens to be the day our camp was getting food ratio. Okay? So this guy did not differentiate lupai on radio for that moment and lupai that he chills with in the village. He calls me. So when I picked up, I was like, hello? And he spoke to me in Kuku. And he told me, for those who understand Kuku, I know you'll understand. Bang lupai. And that means it's like, so lupai, who is going to get your food ratio? And I just didn't know what to say, you know. And since I knew him, I started talking. So I wanted to really deviate, but it was very hard. I was like, yeah, people who will go there will go. So do you want to request for a song or what? And the next caller called and knew me, and the third caller knew me, and the fourth knew me. So all those who called were people I knew. So that means the conversation we had was something that was so easy. And I was like, woo, this is exciting. So I got too excited that I reduced the amount of time I used for playing music, because I want to talk to the people. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, from that moment on, the rest is history, and now it's Sweetheart Sambro Lupai. So that's how it started. And of course, just like any other journey, I'm not standing here and saying, oh yeah, I'm the most successful radio presenter here. No, I'm not standing there. What I'm trying to say is that it's been a journey, and I think it's also good for me to share it, making 10 years. It's not been very easy. It's been me being off sometimes and also coming back on. And also when I got here to Juba, my first radio that I went to on air was Capital FM for just one day. And then Voice of the People snatched me the following day because I had no contract, and they offered me contract with some money. I was like, oh, I'm getting paid for this. So I started working for Voice of the People, for those who knew VOP, 97 FM. And then after that, I went to school, came back, worked at Capital FM, 89, worked at Classic FM, worked at City FM, worked at iRadio, and now it's Advanced Youth Radio. And guys are like, Sambro, just call yourself the radio prostitute. Because you're moving from one radio to the other here in Juba. I've moved almost all the radio stations here. You're only left with Radio Miraya. I was like, I think I also need to go there to make it complete. So that's it. That's been my radio journey. And I think now it's time to not only interact in closed doors with people you can only hear, but it's time for us to also interact with live audiences. And I really need you to give that very honest feedback. So that's 10 years of Sambro, and now it's 10 years of South Sudan that we are going